Welcome already to the fourth in the series of recaps of WCW Under TEW 2020 as we get ready to move things over TW9. So let's get started with the World Title Division. Of course, the year started with Eddy Guerrero as the World Champion, showcasing his grit and charisma, taking, as he won the title at Starrcade. He, of course, had the big match against Vampiro at Showdown in the Sun in Mexico, and then he followed that by title defenses against Shane Helms and Macias. As part of the Macias defense at Wrestle War, we had the Sean Harrow returning after getting beaten down by Macias at the February pay-per-view to help Eddie win, beating off interference from the Deadpool, which sort of solidified O'Haire as a top guy. But all throughout that, we had also had Booker T turn heel at basically the start of the year. First, RVD did convince him to team up, get a tag title shot, but Booker T had walked out of him, turning heel, and sort of like evolving slightly into, being upset over not getting the, what he thinks he deserved, and, defeating his former friend, Rob Van Dam, and then earning a world title shot as a result of that, and winning that world title at Sacrifice in a bit of a shock. He had frustrated with an overlook, but, after that, he, won the world title. He had, he defeated Jeff Hardy in the opener, at Slamboree 2004, then beat Goldberg in a bit of a shocker at Great American Bash, and then, he defeated his, former friend, Rob Van Dam, at Bash at the Beach in what had pretty much, people thought was going to be the match where Van Dam won the title after he had won his feud over Shane Helms after double pinning Helms, and then, beating him in a rematch at Great American Bash. But in a bit of a shocker, what actually happened is, after Sean O'Haire defeated Macias in a Death and Darkness match at Bash at the Beach 2004, and he basically took a month off, not a month, but a week off to recover. At Nitro, at the first show in August, he called out Booker for his title shot at Revolution to call in a shot, and at Revolution, he won the world title. Continuing his ascent after, after rising throughout the whole year, winning the call shot at the end of last year, fighting off the Deadpool, which I'll go into deeper. And then he had, and then at British Assault, he beat Eddy Guerrero, he Booker in a rematch, and then in a bit of a shocker, of course, Eddy Guerrero, who'd sort of like fallen into the background after losing the world title, earned another title shot after defeating Mike Awesome at British Assault, and then the first Nitro after British Assault, Eddie turned on here the night after the pay-per-view out on Nitro with a brainbuster out of nowhere, which set the Fall Brawl match, but Sean O'Haire got the huge win, defining the win, but that set up Halloween Havoc, and to go into that, all throughout the year, Chuck Palumbo had, risen through, fighting off the Deadpool himself, along with O'Haire, but had been taken out, a little while ago. And then at Halloween Havoc, it was Shane Helms versus Sean O'Haire. Helms had earned the shot by DVing a four-way at a Fall Brawl, which Palumbo thinks he was screwed out of. And then at Halloween Havoc, Chuck Palumbo turned heel, attacking his former longtime compatriot, allowing Shane Helms to become the world champion. And Shane Helms, of course, talked the way you thought you would. And all throughout here, Rob Van Dam had been building up, getting big wins, all leading to a big win in a cage match over Jeff Jarrett to open up Halloween Havoc to earn the Starrcade title shot. But first at Mayhem, it was set to be Shane Helms versus Jeff Hardy in a big match for the world title, but Jeff Hardy went to rehab that day, so it was replaced with a four-way against Kanyon, Booker, and Jeff Jarrett, but Helms survived, which all led to Starrcade, where Helms dropped the title to Rob Van Dam in a 25-minute main event in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, positioning Van Dam as WCW's top babyface as we head into 2005. Of course, the other big story at the beginning of the year was Horseman Split, as Ric Flair and Kanyon basically was turned face by, after, the continued disillusion, Kidman and Jared and Douglas attacked them out of nowhere, leading to a huge match at Super Brawl between Kanyon and Flair and Jarrett and Douglas, which Flair and Kanyon win, which then Jarrett turned on Douglas, essentially writing him out of the promotion as his contract was up. But that then led to a big Jeff Jarrett Ric Flair match at Wrestle War, where Jeff Jarrett got the win with his new chosen few in Johnny Devine and Rick Gordy, and they continued to run through the mid card with Jarrett getting a win over Kanyon at Sacrifice, And then Jarrett, continuing the feud with Canyon throughout the summer. But that all led to a big tag match at Grand Prix Bash where Flair and Canyon got the big win over Jarrett and Jindrak. That also led to Mark Jindrak, who became the newest member of the Chosen Few, replacing Rick Gord, who got injured. And then, all throughout the year, that sort of like broke things up between Jarrett and Flair, as there was a blow off the next month where Jarrett, Jindrak, and Divine defeated Malenko, Flair, and Canyon. Malenko had returned to WCW after his WF contract ran out to help his former Horseman member and Ric Flair, and that was sort of like writing off Flair for the moment, as he disappeared till later in the year, which I'll get into. Jarrett moved on to the feud with Rob Van Dam, which set up the big cage match, where Canyon got into a feud with Kidman, where Kidman got several wins, leading all the way to a big Starrcade match for Kidman, where he lost to Canyon via outside interference by the triumvirate. We'll get into deeper. And Jeff Jarrett had a big match with a basically face turn booker at Starrcade as well. And then there's the Deadpool. Uh, it all looked like, Deadpool were strong as ever, going after the world title. But after Vampiro lost to Canyon at Wrestle War, I believe it was, let me double check that. Yeah, happened Morningstar gun Palumbo, went over Palumbo at Super Raw. Macy had pinned Sean O'Hare, and then Macy had destroyed O'Hare. But Vampiro was nowhere to be found. And then at Wrestle War, Canyon took on Vampiro. Then at that Nitro, there was a big Vampiro and Morningstar versus Babyface tag match where Canyon Vampiro was walked out by on the Morningstar. We showed up a Canyon Vampiro heel versus heel match, which Macias was. That happened after Wrestle War when Eddy Guerrero drove to Macias, on the first night of Wrestle War. Sorry, Canyon Vampiro, where Canyon turned face, Vampiro was still heel. So Canyon got a big win over Vampiro, and the only time we really had time to win that match. And that led to Macias and Morningstar going after Vampiro. First what happened is, Vampiro was written off for a month, which led to a big tag match of Palumbo and O'Hare versus Macias and Morningstar at Sacrifice, but Vampiro helped Palumbo and O'Hare, and then, Vampiro took out Macias and Morningstar as basically O'Hare and Palumbo were confused, which led to Morningstar beating Vampiro, but Vampiro escaped before Macias and Morningstar could kill him. But during a bash, Macias destroyed Vampiro, getting the win, but Vampiro disappeared, basically writing off Vampiro as he left for the WWF, as we didn't extend his contract because he was a troublemaker backstage. That all led to Morningstar's and Macias continuing to feud with men like Sean O'Hare and Chuck Palumbo, which led to the big Death and Darkness match eventually, which, as I noted, Sean O'Hare won. That led the Deadpool to disappear for a little while, but then at Fall Brawl, the Deadpool returned, attacking the then tag team champions Wright and Chavo, and won those tag belts the next month at Halloween Havoc, and then successfully defended them at Starrcade against, of all teams, Ric Flair and Sting, where Ric Flair and Sting make one last final battle against the Deadpool, but unfortunately they lost. As the year ends, Vampiro is gone, but Macy's Morningstar stand tall as tag team champions. And then, of course, there are the rising stars of WCW. Of course, Chuck Palumbo started off the year as part of the Cage Heat match. He got involved in a feud with Deadpool, as I mentioned, and he was screwed over in the number one contender 4-way, which, and then we had a series of vignettes where he was in a biker bar getting basically turned heel by Raven Rain, and that led to his heel turn at Halloween Havoc, and eventually led to a big match at Starrcade, where Palumbo got the big win thanks to Raven Rain, ending the year on a high note. Meanwhile, the Triumvirate, continued to wreak havoc. Storm and Kidman, of course, began the year as tag team champions, even though they dropped those titles later on. The team, Kidman continued to be a slimy heel, fighting with various mid-carders. Goldberg got involved, feud with Awesome. Goldberg got in feud with the entire Triumvirate, which ended with a big cage match, with Goldberg getting the win. But this eventually led to Kidman getting a big win at the biggest win of so far of his career, you could argue, by winning the Mayhem tournament and the called shot at Mayhem 2003, and then getting a big win over Canyon with a called shot on the line. And there's Monty Brown. Of course, Monty Brown debuted at Starrcade 2003 and, did the Goldberg special, squashing lower carders for most of the first half of the year. He won some real competition, so he defeated Paul London and then shockingly Sting at a British Assault in August. And then he, basically called out Goldberg, which, led to the big match at Halloween Havoc, where Goldberg fought Monty Brown to a double DQ, and then Monty Brown pounced Goldberg to the screen, and that led to the big Starrcade match, where Goldberg did the job again. Monty Brown really putting him over as the future of the company. Then there was the U.S. title scene. Of course, Rey Mysterio Jr. started the year as champion, but he shockingly lost the title early in the year to Keenan Sharp, who was basically Corey Graves, aka Sir James Keenan, as a what's the word I'm looking for here? I haven't brain for it. Not cult leader, but cult leader gimmick. Psychological warfare, and he eventually won the title off of Rey Mysterio Jr. He got involved with Tajiri, and Tajiri shockingly won the U.S. title. Tajiri dropped the title to Paul London, and Paul London dropped the title to Jonathan Toro, who of course turned totally into his Roman Legion gimmick, along with Kid Roman and Johnny Swinger as his Roman Legionnaires. And he got 2 big wins near the end of the year, including a huge win over Rey Mysterio Jr. at Starrcade, setting up as also one of the fastest rising young stars in WCW as 2004 ends. Team division, of course, as I noted, Kidman and Storm won the titles early in the year, but they dropped those titles to Jet in London in a bit of a shocker at Super Brawl that eventually led to Silver City Rollers winning the belts only a month later at Wrestle War and fending off challengers throughout the spring, such as the Hart Legacy, Jet in London in a rematch, a big triple threat with Alex Wright and Chavo Jr., and Jamie Noble and Ebony Sable. But then, and even a match with Air Raid, which began the issues with Air Raid, which I'll get into later. But then finally, at British Assault, Wright and Chavo beat Silver City Rollers once Shane Helms and Gigant and Amber O'Neal were banned from ringside. But then, of course, as I noted, after defeating America's Most Wanted, at Fall Brawl, Missy Morningstar attacked Wright and Chavo. Missy Morningstar won the tag titles off of Wright and Chavo pretty easily at Halloween Havoc. And then at Starrcade, as I noted, they took on Sting and Ric Flair. But an interesting note, America's Most Wanted won the annual Tag Team Turmoil at Starrcade, setting up as the next contenders. But of course, we saw teams like the Hart Legacy, Wright and Chavo, Silver City Rollers, and Divine and Jandrak of the Chosen Few delivering high-quality matches throughout the tag division as 2004 ends. And then there's the win. Of course, as you can see there, some very different women at the top there. The year started with Celine Cartier as the champion, and she, fought ably against women such as Nikita Colt, a rematch against Gail Kim, and even eventually Nikita Colt won the belt offer at Wrestle War, and Colt held the title throughout the spring, submitting Jordan Cole at Sacrifice. But then Gail Kim won the belt in a big moment at Slamboree 2004 as a babyface and retained the title over Angel Fox at Great American Bash. But between Great American Bash at the Beach, Trish Stratus, aka Trisha Sky, made her debut, getting a feud with the team of Lexi James and Angel Fox. Well, Gail Kim won a rematch over Nikita Colt. And then Joni Lawler made her surprise debut as part of a Gauntlet for the Gold Battle Royal match on Nitro to earn the number 1 contendership to the women's title. And as you expect, Joni Lawler won the title at British Assault, but also as part of that show, but after that show, we had the debut of Lizzie Dumas, aka Lita, arriving WCW to form Captivation with Angel Fox and Lexi James, and that feud was, part of the first ever Women's War Games match at Fall Brawl, where Celine Cartier, Jordan Cole, Natty Neidhart, Ronnie Jonah, and Trisha Sky defeating Angel Fox, Lexi James, Lizzie Dumas, Nikita Colt, and Christina Busick. Well, Joni Lawler beat Gail Kim again at Fall Brawl. At Halloween Havoc, Celine Cartier got a match for the women's title, but lost to Joni Lawler again, which all led to Starrcade, where in a triple threat match, Trisha Sky won the title off of Joni Lawler in a match that also with Gail Kim. So the year ends with the sort of rise of the women's division to be a more permanent, solidified thing, earning much better ratings, and a women getting more over thanks to women like Trish Stratus, Lita, and Joni Lawler arriving in WCW, under different names, and of course Gail Kim solidifying things as well. The cruiserweight division started hot. Of course, Jushin Liger had won, what was announced early on in the year as Jamie Noble's shocking defense for Showdown Sun. Liger won the title, but then at Super Brawl, as part of a triple threat match, AJ Styles won the won the Cruiserweight title, which started sort of the undercurrent against Air Raid. At Wrestle War, AJ Styles pinned Justin Liger in the biggest match of his career so far, one could argue. But then, he then AJ Styles beat Noble in sort of like a one-on-one match. Shockingly, Eel Skipper won the title from AJ Styles at Slamboree, also as if somebody figured out AJ Styles was way too over for the Cruiserweight division already. And Eel Skipper got a big win over Air Paris, which also solidified the undercurrent between Air Paris and AJ Styles, which led to AJ and Air Paris arguing at a tag title match, and then AJ having a shot at the U.S. title at British Assault and getting turned on by Air Paris, all as Eel Skipper, continuing to win title defenses against people like Tony Kazina, Paul London, Jason Jett, and Teddy Hart. Meanwhile, at Halloween Havoc, Eel Skipper defeated Blitzkrieg, and this all led to Starrcade, where as part of a open call 8-man cruiserweight scramble, Taka Michinoku arrived back to WCW and won the cruiserweight title for, I believe, the 4th time. And, that does include other things like the arrival of Brother Ray to WCW, who got all the way to the ladder match finals, and then got involved with a feud with the young up-and-coming newcomers such as Keenan Sharp, Tank Tolan, and Ray LePen, aka Adam Rose, and Brother Ray brought in Salmon and Terry Funk in a big hardcore war for Starrcade. Starrcade also involved AJ Styles beating Eddy Guerrero, as Eddy Guerrero's bad year continued, as even after turning heel, he didn't get the big win. And then, of course, as I noted, Monty Brown got huge wins, Chuck Palumbo got a big win, Kidman got huge wins. It's almost like I'm setting up heels for challengers to the new world champion, Rob Van Dam, who ended the year as the world champion. But another big thing is as 2005 begins, is the beginning of the brand split, as Nitro and Revolution will have separate shows. The world, all the champions will go between shows, including the women's world and tag titles and US title, and there will be a draft on the first Nitro of 2005. So there you go. That's 2004 in a nutshell. Enjoy this. Go and give it a like. Comment below what you liked and didn't like, and subscribe to our channel as I finish up this series. I should be able to get 2005 up on Monday, 2006, well, at least 2006 so far, up on that Friday or sooner. And then as we get nearing to the middle of January, we'll have TEW9, WCW 2006, September. I think it'll probably like September 4th officially for that Nitro, whatever it will be. But that's for now, so check later, and adios. Have a good one.